All right, we are here at the Mitchell Ness pop-up store. My name is Tate Frazier, and I am joined with BJ Armstrong, a.k.a. The Kid in Chicago.
The Kid?
The Kid, and that is sitting across from us. Ninth Wonder called him the GOAT, and for the young kids out there, the greatest of all time. And that, of course, is Mr. Ralph Sampson, Virginia legend, Rocket legend, basketball legend, iconoclast. How you doing, Mr. Ralph Sampson?
Only a legend in my own mind.
That's the only
thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters.
Absolutely. Well, you're here for the 69th All-Star Game. We're here in Chicago. There's obviously a lot of basketball legends walking around. You're one of the the greatest of all time, as they like to say. So, what is it like to be back and see basketball and see all these other guys, all these other legends around the game, fraternizing and being together?
Well, this guy to my right sitting here, Mr. Armstrong.
Mr. Armstrong.
It's a little different to watch the game because we kind of played, right?
Right.
And right now it's just more of a show. You didn't have all this pop-up shop stuff, and but it's good to see it evolve into what it is because it's you get to see people and get to hang out with people and at a whole different level, and the legend parties and the rising star. I mean, so it's pretty cool just to come and just hang out, and it's like a family reunion for me. So
Rob, you played in so many All-Star games, and what is the one thing that you remembered most when you participated as a player in the All-Star game and All-Star weekend?
Well, I tell somebody upstairs that when you start talking mess in the locker room, and you got to play against somebody, then you got to go the next night and play against them, for the real game. And you're like, okay, you should play hard because we don't want you to come the next night and play against us. So talking noise in the locker room was really fun.
Right.
And on the bus, and then slam dunk stuff, and then the locker room before the game, you got Magic, Larry, Michael, you got everybody talking noise. So, and everybody wanted to win, especially in the fourth quarter. Yeah. And the fourth quarter you was gonna go get it done. But that was the fun part for me.
It's funny that the competition. It seems like every time we were talking to Dave Cowens yesterday, and we're talking to Sam Perkins, and we're asking we're asking the same questions.
Big smooth.
Big smooth.
And we're still smooth.
He's still smooth and calm and just having a great day. But we're just asking the same question about what does the nostalgia come from, or where does the nostalgia come from for that era? And it seems like it points to the competition, like you said. Once we get down to the fourth quarter.
Well, I think it's the history. So I go to a Kenny Smith party last night, and Julius Erving was sitting up in there.
Wow.
Out at the couch hanging out with everybody. So I think it's more than just the nostalgia, but I think it's the history. So this is the only time you can see the whole history of the game, right? The rest of the season, you got the young guys playing and the playoffs and stuff like that. But when you come to the All-Star game, you got to go back like Chicago, where they go back to the dunk contest.
Right.
You get to see all those videos. I said last night in a function, and they went back to all the dunk contests and Jordan from the free throw, Dominic, Spud Webb. So you get to see videos that take you back, and that's the special part.
Rob, there's some moments or defining moments in the history of the game, and when you look at the game, I think you will be there as far as what you did and your contributions and your style of play. Right, it was really no one really kind of played like you at your size at that time. What was some of the influences that allowed you to develop? Because at that time, they were taking big guys like yourself and just putting them on the box.
You couldn't shoot it.
You couldn't shoot it, right?
And get your tail taken out the game.
I remember you were dribbling the ball, and we were like, "What's going on here?" What was some of the influences that you had, or some of the players that you saw that influenced the way you played?
Well, I mean, I started at a young age in high school, and boxing 1, boxing 3. In high school, you couldn't get the ball, so you get frustrated as a big guy, right? And you're not getting the ball in the post. Oh, do a post up, do a back to the basket move, and you can't get the ball to do that. So you take it, you get mad, you take it off the basket, and you go dribble, and you turn it over. So I had a great high school coach that said, okay, we're gonna practice it in practice. So he made me practice against the fastest point guards. So I was able to dribble, in high school. And then I did it in college, and then the NBA, same thing. You double down on the post, and I was fortunate enough to have Akeem Olajuwon my second year, that I could just be free. And then I could dribble up the court and do what I normally could do. And now in the day, they can do it all day long.
Right. And they're actually playing really. I always say this, and I think I've said this to you many a times. I would have loved to seen you play in today's game.
Trust me, we both go back to that. Not only for the play, the money they're making, and just to play the style. Because you can shoot a 3 anytime you want.
And you were doing that when we really didn't know what was going on,
Didn't have a clue.
And you had an imagination. Like, where did your imagination come of saying, I can be something outside of what people were trying to just put you in this little box?
again, just come from just working at at the craft, playing on the streets, playing in the playground, playing in high school, wanting to be good, and then having the skill set because, like I said, you get frustrated, the big guy, and I tell the story that my number was 50, but in high school I wanted number 10, your number, and you wanted your number, but the jersey wouldn't fit because it was too small.
Right.
So the bigger guy had to wear the bigger jersey number. So that's the way it started. That's the way 50 happened. But you wanted to be a guard. You wanted to play like an Oscar Robertson. You wanted to play like a Julius Erving, and that's what we saw. And you wanted to play like that, so you tried it.
Wow. Yeah, it was like a David Thompson or any of those guys. From that
Dave,
era.
David's a different model. That's an animal right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up the '88 All-Star game. You brought up the dunk contest, and obviously watching that dunk contest, I read a quote from Jordan. They asked him if he had prepped any of the dunks, and he was like, "Yeah, I just go out there and it's all creativity that inspires you."
He didn't have to prep anything. He just laced his shoes up. He was good.
I know.
Yeah, so you've seen a whole lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see him? He was down at the hotel early. Did you see him?
I saw him. We had lunch up there a little
Dominique,
bit.
They were reminiscing about the dunk contest.
Yeah. Them two right there, yeah. Dominique still say he got cheated.
I was going to say, I don't know if it's reminiscing or arguing. Yeah, we don't know.
Dominique got cheated. He said I got cheated.
Yeah.
And we should bring up last year at the national championship game, you were there watching Virginia win. And for people that don't understand, the NIT used to be basically the same thing as the NCAA tournament back when you were playing and you won some NIT championships. But to have that moment they showed you on the big screen, I was there in Minnesota, and then the Virginia fans are going crazy, obviously, to say, and tip of the cap to that era. Is it cool to see Virginia get a title and kind of get the respect as a basketball powerhouse now?
Well, I go through the evolution of 3 years. So previous year they lost to a 16 seed.
Yes, UMBC.
Yeah. And the coach of that team was Dave Odom's son, which was one of my assistant coaches.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And it was crazy. So come back in next year with a mission and win it all. And very lucky to win it all, right? So you got to have a little luck to win an NCAA title. And then this year, maybe not even making the NCAA tournament. So it's a 3-year swing that I don't think any other college programs ever had.
And the worst part about that is that North Carolina is favored against Virginia today. And if you haven't watched North Carolina this year, we don't understand that.
They terrible.
Ninth Wonder is yelling that he doesn't know how either.
North Carolina terrible. The coach even said they terrible.
So it's a tough time. But like you said, Virginia basketball, it's a roller coaster. It's up and down. But I feel like the respect all around it is finally coming back.
Tony Bennett's the real deal.
Yes.
And I tell people all the time, okay, great. And I've talked to him a couple of times, but he's gonna coach the NBA sometime because he got the defense. Now offense may be a little bit stagnant, but he'll get out there because he's a shooting guard. But he's built a program there that's like top in the country.
Absolutely. And speaking about being the top in the country, you were one of the greatest players coming out of high school, and you kind of dealt with a different era as far as the conditioning that leads to you being a legend in the NBA. It's like you're famous now from the age of 16 all the way up. Is it different now watching these guys and watching that ascension, and what can you pass down to those younger guys that have to deal with that?
Well, I mean, BJ knows. I mean, he's been in the game a long time, so it's really for them to understand what we know and what we've been through, because it's similar. But sometimes they don't want to listen,
right,
and understand it. So, and then when it's time that they can't do it or something wrong, then they come to you like, okay, great. So, I mean, for me, it's just watching the young kids play and respect the game. I don't think they respect the game like we do. I mean, I'll see Bill Russell, Julius, Magic, Bird. When I see them, you respect them. And we give each other, we see that we give each other that respect. And maybe they don't know the history of the game, which I think is the issue. But they need to get the game a lot more respect than what it is, because, they couldn't play with us. They couldn't play in that day when you got the bad boys and you're getting your head rocked. I mean, I'm telling you, they couldn't play with us. They couldn't play.
And it's funny, too, because like if you take some of the guys that maybe not know the history and you show them those clips, you do see the reactions of like, oh, this already happened.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And go back and see Doctor playing against the Lakers and dunking on Michael Cooper. Okay, you can see that.
Well, I mean, look, you were the number one coming out. You were on every magazine. What kept you grounded? Because you see these guys now, they come out, they're number one in their class, and all of a sudden they just kind of flame out. What kept you grounded, hungry? Because you were as famous as any player to ever come out of high school, college, pro. What kept you always pushing?
Well, parents, one, and then I could have came out in high school, and I tell people all the time, if I'd have came out my freshman year in college, Kevin McHale wouldn't have went to Boston. Because Brad Auerbach was on my doorstep with a briefcase of $1 million in my mother and father's house.
Wow.
Okay, come to the mighty Boston Celtics, play with us. And so he ended up drafting Kevin McHale because I didn't come out.
Wow.
Now I was 205 pounds soaking wet. Freshman in college coming out to play Kareem and Robert Perry. No, that didn't work. I mean, now they got broke up real quick, right? So that one. The next year, Isaiah goes to Detroit.
Yep.
I mean, we called each other off with the class of 79, like, you coming out? You're not coming out? So I didn't know at that point in time. So Isaiah might not have gone to Detroit. And then the next year, Worthy goes to the Lakers. So I'm like, am I coming out? So I had 3 years where I had to make that decision. And I think it worked out for all of us, you know, from that perspective.
Yes.
But things would have changed. I mean, I would have played Twin Towers with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Right.
So you think about that, like, maybe I should have came. You know? if I know what I know now, I probably would have. But it's all
Finals
good. It's all
MVP,
good.
just like Big Game
It's all good.
James. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's good. But, you know, you think about it, but it all works out.
Yep.
Absolutely, and it continues to work out. And you know, we should point out that we appreciate you coming out here and
No,
sharing
no.
your wisdom.
See this guy right here in town. It's all
This is
good.
right.
It's all good.
This is one of my favorites,
It's all good.
Ralph. And hey, we love you.
Yeah,
We appreciate
it.
you stopping
I'm in
by.
your
We
city,
see your
man.
family.
In Chicago.
Absolutely. And just use my name at any place you go. I don't know if the bill gets paid, but just use my name. Just
No,
throw it
I
out
need
there.
to get in the door.
Yeah, and there you
All
go.
right.
There you go. But
Thanks,
for-
Ralph.
all right, thank you.
All right.
Big
All
fella.
right, man. Appreciate it.
Man, appreciate it.